YouTube? This is Steve from Average Joe's Fantasy Football, and we've got your Week 7 start and sit video for the wide receiver position. If you haven't already, make sure you check out our other start and sit video for the quarterback and running back position to help you guys with your Week 7. There are a lot of teams on a bye this week. You've got the Cowboys, Panthers, Texans, Titans, Jets, Bengals. Like, there are a lot of players not playing this week, and really, if you're thinking wide receivers, you got Thielen out, CD, Chase, Garrett Wilson, D-Hop, right? Like, there are a lot of receivers not playing this week, so you've got to take account for those particular positions. So hopefully this list of players that I'm recommending you should be playing or possibly sitting helps you out this week. If you guys haven't already, we are still running our NFL jersey giveaway. All you have to do is make sure you're subscribed, like the latest video, and of course, comment your favorite NFL team. We'll be running that giveaway at the end of the week and announce who wins their favorite jersey. So again, make sure you guys are doing that. Now, these are your obvious start at wide receiver. Pretty simple, clean, not as many receivers, obviously, with the bye and everything going on. But these are the players that I recommend as a must start no matter what the situation is. Now, my first receiver I recommend as a good start is going to be Marquise Brown versus the Seahawks. Hollywood has been great this season, even with the whole quarterback situation with Dobbs. He's got a great matchup this week. Seattle's allowing over 200 yards a game to receivers, allowing 4 100 yards games in the 5 games they have played, which is crazy. So again, opportunity is there for Hollywood Brown to really succeed. He's seeing about 8 targets a game at this point. And again, Seahawks allowing 20.7 points to wide receivers. So the fact that they're almost allowing 100 yards a game to the top receiver, almost 20 points, and about a touchdown a game, this is a really good matchup for, I think, a really strong wide receiver 2, low end wide receiver 1 option for Hollywood Brown this week. Another receiver I like this week is going to be Amari Cooper versus the Colts. Now, normally I would put Amari Cooper as an obvious start, but with everything going on at the quarterback position with PJ Walker in there, Watson still dealing with a whole shoulder situation, you're going to be hesitant sometimes. But he's got a great matchup this week against the Colts, right? Amari Cooper just put up 14 points with a tough defense that they just played against the 49ers. And again, that's with the XFL player in PJ Walker. He actually did a phenomenal job against the 49ers. This is a better matchup for them, right? Amari's still seeing about 7 targets a game. Colts are allowing 21.9 points a game. And then, of course, a touchdown per game as well. So a really good matchup. Stay tuned of what's going on with the whole Deshaun Watson thing, because everyone's kind of unsure what's going on. He's most likely going to miss this one again. At least that's the latest news. So PJ Walker's coming in as the starter again. So expectations are a little bit different with Amari, but I still like his matchup. Another receiver I like this week is Rashee Rice versus the Chargers. Rice has definitely become really the wide receiver 1 at this point for the Chiefs. I mean, it's Kelsey, but Rashee Rice has done a really good job. He's seeing about 6 targets a game. He's been a fantastic flex play where you can put him comfortably in the flex spot every single week. I think he can actually have a wide receiver 2 potential this week based off of his matchup. Now, the Chiefs did get McCole Hardman. Not sure how that's going to play out this weekend, and he's obviously very familiar with his Chiefs offense and Mahomes. So that's going to affect Rashee Rice a little bit this season, but I still am really high on this rookie. I like what he's able to do. And again, Chargers defense is bottom end the barrel against the pass defense. They're allowing 220 yards a game to receivers, a touchdown per game, and about 23.6 points. So this is a really good matchup for Rashee Rice. I expect a touchdown out of this one. I expect an 18-point game. That's where I see him at. Again, finishing a really strong wide receiver too. Now, another receiver I like is Brandon Ayuk versus the Vikings. Vikings defense obviously isn't great, right? They've had their moments where they've done a pretty good job, but they're not great against the pass. Ayuk definitely has an opportunity to shine. There's a good chance Deebo Samuel does not play. And of course, there's a good chance Christian McCaffrey not play. So that does change the dynamic of this offense. Now, if Christian McCaffrey does play, it definitely helps Brandon Ayuk. But we'll see how this plays out. If Deebo does not play, of course, I still think it benefits Ayuk. He's going to see plenty of targets and opportunities to take advantage of this particular week. Vikings are allowing 19.9 points a game and a touchdown per game to wide receivers. So the opportunities are there. He's going to see plenty of targets, about 8 to 9 in this particular week. I do think Kittle does step it up. I know Kittle is one of those guys that everyone gets frustrated. He's going to have an amazing game, and then he has the dud game. That just tends to be where he's at. He's always up and down. I do think Kittle adds some value this week, and then Ayuk is going to take advantage of that in a really good start. Now, the last receiver I recommend as a good start this week is going to be Christian Watson versus the Broncos. We're finally getting, hopefully, a healthy Christian Watson. Obviously, they're coming off of a bye. He played a little bit before the bye. He's averaging about 11 points in those games that he did have the chance to play. Now going against the Broncos team that has struggled, right? They're allowing 20.4 points to wide receivers. Now, they have done a pretty good job as of late. But again, the Broncos defense is not fantastic. And this is a game that the Packers obviously need a reset, right? They're coming off a bye. That's always usually a good opportunity when you come off of a bye week to really game plan. You have 2 weeks to game plan really against the team. And I think this is going to be a really nice little standout for Christian Watson. Now, a receiver I'm going to sit this week is going to be Michael Pittman versus the Browns. Look, Michael Pittman had a great game this last weekend, and really this whole season he is being heavily targeted, which is where his value has always been great at, right? Even with the whole quarterback situation where Anthony Richardson is done for the season due to the injury, you've got Gardner Minshew, who I think Gardner Minshew is still a pretty good quarterback, and he's a great backup quarterback. So this Colts offense does feel confident with him. But this is a really tough matchup. Browns are only allowing 11.4 points a game, just under 100 yards receiving as a receiving core. So this is a really tough matchup for Michael Pittman. Do I expect him to still be a solid flex play? Sure. Just because he's going to get targeted, right? Like he's seeing almost 10 targets a game. Last week, I think he had 14. Like he's getting his opportunities. So it's hard to sit him. But I think expectation wise, I'm not expecting a lot. Like the Browns have only allowed 1 touchdown this season to a receiver. Like that was week 2 against Pickens. So I just don't know if this is going to be a matchup that I feel comfortable with. Again, flex play, I'm okay with it. But if you can, look at some other opportunities. Another receiver I'm sitting this week is going to be Courtland Sutton versus the Packers. Unless Sutton obviously gets that touchdown, that's where his value has been the biggest. I just don't trust him week in and week out, right? Like this Broncos offense has been up and down. I think Wilson's actually done a pretty good job with what he's got going on. He's definitely improved compared to last season. But Sutton's going against a Packers team that's, they've allowed 17 points a game. I get it. But where they've done a pretty good job is stopping receivers from scoring. And where Sutton needs to succeed is in the red zone opportunities, right? You look at his receptions, he's not getting a lot. He's not getting a lot of targets. And so if he's not getting enough targets and he's also not scoring, he's an 8 to 10 point type of play. Maybe a flex play, right? But as far as anything else, I'm looking at sitting him for other particular players. Sutton's definitely one I'm sitting. Chris Godwin is another receiver I'm recommending sitting this week versus the Falcons. Now, as much as the Bucs throw the ball, Godwin has not really stood out, right? Like he's done okay. He's averaging that 12 points a game type of aspect because he is the clear wide receiver too. Now, Falcons actually do a pretty good job against receivers. They're only allowing 13.7 points to the wide receiver 1, and the wide receiver 1 on this team is obviously clearly Mike Evans. So Chris Godwin's going to be even less of a performance in this game because I do think Falcons defense is a pretty good team. I'm not saying top 10, but they're doing a really good job against their opponents. So opportunity is there for Godwin to possibly get you an 8 to 10 point type of game. That's kind of where he's been at for most of the season. So I'm going to sit him this week just because of the opportunities. Now, Gabe Davis is another receiver I'm considering sitting this week because of his inconsistency, where I think the Patriots have done a really good job at is in the secondary aspect, right? Like they're stopping receivers. Diggs is still going to be a play you have to put in there. Gabe Davis is the opposite receiver that has his moments, right? Like Gabe Davis is definitely a receiver that is struggling where he's going to have a great boom play and then he's going to have a game where he just doesn't show up right. This is a game I'm worried about him not showing up right. Like this is a game that, again, if you have to put him in a flex play because of all the bye week situation, I get it. But as far as performances go, he's too inconsistent and now going against a pretty good, tough defense in the Patriots. Definitely something I'm considering as far as sitting. Another receiver I'm sitting is DJ Moore versus the Raiders. Raiders have held receivers to 14.5 points as well. Only in, again, with no Fields and this whole quarterback situation, who else is going to take a lot of the attention away, right? Like it's DJ Moore. Then you got Roschon and Foreman, Cole Kmet. Mooney hasn't been reliable. Like there's not a lot of weapons. So what do the Raiders have to do? Force the quarterback to throw and just double cover DJ Moore. Like this is a really tough matchup. Like because of the whole field situation, I just can't trust DJ Moore at this moment. I like DJ Moore. when he had Fields and going against bad defenses. Raiders are just above average when it comes to the defense. Like, they're not horrible. They're not great. And the fact is they're going to be able to take advantage of this matchup. So again, I'm not really believing in this matchup for DJ Moore just because of the whole quarterback situation. So I'm going to sit him. Now, as far as my sleeper goes, I've got Zay Flowers versus the Lions. Zay is becoming definitely the clear wide receiver 1 for Lamar Jackson in this Ravens offense. Pretty simple. He's getting plenty of targets. He's getting about 8 targets a game, especially in the last 2 games. And with the whole inconsistency in Odell, with Bateman pretty much being non-existent and having too many drops, Zay Flowers is the wide receiver 1, right? You've got Mark Andrews, Zay Flowers. And the fact is, Lions are a team that allows 17 points a game. They're also allowing a touchdown per game. So the opportunity is there for Zay Flowers to have some success, get you in that 18-point range, right? A nice wide receiver 2 for this week, and he's only continuing to grow. So this is a nice little sleeper. You're probably not even going to see him as a sleeper. I think most people are probably going to see the idea of, hey, he should be starting. And he's almost getting to that point, but I like him this week. I like the matchup. I think it's going to be a fun game to watch between the Ravens and the Lions. And I think he's going to do really well. So those are my start, sits, and sleepers for the wide receiver position of week 7. If you guys do have questions for your lineup, hit us up in the comments down below. If you have questions for trades or waivers or anything else that pertains to your fantasy team, hit us up down here in the comments. We'd love to help you guys with your week 7 and further on, right? Don't be afraid. What's what we're here for. If you guys haven't already, make sure you guys are subscribed. Make sure you like the video. And of course, comment your favorite NFL team to be part of that NFL jersey giveaway. So again, check out our other start and sit videos as well. If you have comments or questions, hit us down here below, and I'll check you guys out next time.